Afternoon guys, my name's Sam Corton, a sports therapist. This is my second video for YouTube. Thank you ever so much for your feedback from the previous, and they have been noted and I have made a few changes. Today's session is going to be done from a chair. It can be done by you and your body only, or if you have a selection of bands, whether they are your resistance bands of various tension or whether they are your looped bands, you can use these. I'm going to start with warm up, and I'm also going to use this first opening routine for you to see where you are with your range of movement. So firstly, make sure that you have a chair that is not only sturdy, reasonably comfortable, but also allows you to have freedom of movement through the sides. Most importantly, you don't catch your hands. So first thing I'm going to ask you to do, please, is just to start mobilising the shoulders. Now, I'm very aware that there may be many reasons why you'd be using this video with the routine in a chair. So I'm mindful of that, and I want to try and do my very best to try and make it as accessible as possible. So we're activating our shoulders in this rear way. From there, I'm going to ask you to just gently bring the arms up into the air. Is there any tension in your chest? Do you suffer with tightness or restrictions around the neck? And if you do, please leave a comment and I will answer, see if we can work out anything. But if you have somebody that you trust, then it might be a great way to investigate why your shoulders are tight and why the chest is aggravated. From there, we're going to go into diamonds. So diamonds is just this really lovely range of movement that we have through our arms and our shoulders. The diamond is to symbolise the shape of the muscles in your back, and we're just activating as many of those as possible. If there's any clicking or clunking, I want you to take your time, and if it is irritating, then I want you to shake, relax the shoulders and go back into your previous, which is this one. Anyway, as we've got this movement going through the arms, are you feeling any fatigue coming in? Is there any clicking or clunking? And just generally see what range you have. Each time we do this, you might find that you've got a greater range, but also I do appreciate that each time you do this, you might find you fatigue quicker. Great stuff. My next one for you, again relaxing those shoulders in between, is turning an imaginary handle. So we're bringing the hand off our knees, tops of our thighs, and we're just bringing it back. It's so important that with regards to posture, increased sitting, work, staying at home, possibly working at the desk, you're not getting up as much as you normally would, that we are utilising these muscles in their correct manner. 2, 1, lovely. So guys, can I ask you please, can you bring your hands up above your head? Can you drop the elbow from side to side? We've been doing this a couple of minutes now, and there is a very good chance that you may be finding that certain muscles are fatiguing. You may have found that certain muscles don't quite like doing what you're asking them to do. And I really want you to try and take this opportunity to learn why that might be. Try not to be afraid of it, and whether it can be investigated. Lovely. Relax there. Alright, from there we're now going to use more of our torso. So can I ask you please to just gently drop down in between the legs. You might not be able to come all the way down. You may be recovering from any lower back pain. You may have restrictions in the lower back. So really, anywhere that you can touch down the body is going to stimulate the muscles and the core control that you may need to increase. From here, we are then going to go 1, 2, and then swap. Here, here. This is a great way of stimulating the range that you might need in your upper spine. T-spine stretch. But because we're doing multiples, we're actually turning this into an exercise. Finishing off the move would be to look up at the hand, just to make sure that we're getting that full range of movement in the upper body. Okay? Last few. Brilliant. Lovely. So we've utilised a bit of the stomach muscles, we've utilised the thoracic range, so the upper part of your spine. The next one I'm going to ask you to do is to choose. Are you able to very gently turn, twist from side to side? If this exercise is not for you for any reasons, which I will be putting in the notes, disclaimer and an appreciation of what you may or may not be able to do with permission from the doctor, I'd like you to go into side. So we have these two arrangements. So if you're happy doing this, exploring the range you have in the lower back, we come down, we're trying to stay straight, all right, rather than leaning forward or leaning back to achieve it. We want to try and come through. Or we've got that twist. I want you to now relax there. So now you know which one that may work for you, then I want you to choose them for me, please. So once again, we've got the twist. If the twist is not for you, then you've got the side shift. And you've got this lovely reaching. It is slightly more advanced than the one where you were dropping down in between the legs. But if neither of these are okay for you, then you may want to go back into this one. Coming back down through, using the stomach muscles and coming through. This is great. So we've got this, or we've got that. Okay, from there now guys, we're going to activate our legs. So again, making sure that your chair is nice and safe and you are feeling okay and comfortable. I would like you please to extend the leg. So as I bring my foot to you, I'm extending out, okay? Extending. Feeling the muscles on the thighs. Also depending what's going on in the thighs, you may feel the muscles in your stomach as well. We're going for that reach, we're going for that stretch at the back of the legs and also the stretch on the thighs as well. You are activating and lengthening. From here, I'm going to ask you now to do out, out and in. So you're still using those muscles in the stomach and technically you may be using them more. So we're almost doing like a box step. Out, out, okay? Lovely. Concentrating on the posture the whole time and just activating those areas. So my first video was a routine which I would probably class upper, beginner, intermediate. Because of the pace I was going at does not necessarily mean that you need to go at that pace. I then have this video where we are utilising our body within the chair, and then in the next week I will be using a video that will be going in between this one and that one, which will just give you a nice steady progression. So can I ask you now please, with breathing of a relaxed nature, I want you to breathe in to prepare and breathe out and drop forwards. So once again, This is all about exploring the range you have in your hips, in your lower back, and quite possibly, if you're tight enough, in your calves, believe it or not, as you're coming through. So we're just coming through, relaxing, dropping the head, and just gently stimulating and feeling more response on the back of those legs. Fantastic. 3, 2, 1. Great. So I'm now going to take you through a full routine, okay, looking from start to finish and starting with the upper body. So firstly, please, can I ask you to do the backstroke? Again, being mindful of what chair you are in and whether you need to change it. Doing that lovely backstroke, so we're opening up the chest wall, opening up the range you have through your arms. Nice deep breaths. And we're just going to go from one exercise to another. If you need to pause me at any point to get a drink, then obviously do so. And you know that I'm just right here waiting to go again. From here, we're going to do that big turning of the handle. Okay, we're going forwards this time. And in about 10 seconds, we're going to go back. Three, 2, 1. Now we're going to go backwards. Seeing there's a huge difference between those movements for you. Big circles. How are those shoulders feeling? How is the body reacting? I like to call it feedback. And I think you can learn from feedback. Good. Lovely. Shake out those shoulders. Last one is going to be your diamonds. Again, do you feel any clunking or dunking? Any clicking or cracking? I don't want you to be overly worried about it, but I just want you to be aware that your arms, I want you to imagine you're trying to take them up behind the door frame. You're opening up the chest and you're utilising those back muscles. From here, my final one is going to be merely pushing the hands to the ceiling. So we're just doing this, okay? Just pushing up. Now, the resistance bands, if you'd like to continue doing this and watch me, I could grab a resistance band, double it up, and push and drop. So I've got a little bit of tension going through the band. If you're continuing with those single hand pushes, I'd like you to have a rest now. And if you've been doing this band here with me, then I'd like you to do 5 more in your head and then stop as well. So these bands are absolutely wonderful for so many reasons. They give you tension, they give you support through the muscles, and we're going to have a little go. I'm going to show you a segment now. If you don't have a band, you just want to fast forward to the next bit where you don't see this, that's totally fine. So, my first one is using the band to open up your upper spine. So, to slow this down, I have a leading hand and a following hand. And it has to follow because it's connected by a band. I'm opening up the chest wall, I'm opening up the shoulders, and I'm breathing deeply. If you have any restrictions around your rib cage or anything around the shoulders, then just be careful that you understand what you're asking of your upper body, but you don't push it through into a pain threshold. From there, we're going to try the other way. So the other hand comes up and the other hand leads. The common issue with this is sometimes the hand that you led before gets confused and tries to lead again when you're doing this. So you then get quite a strange looking routine. So I just want you to be really aware that you choose the hand you're leading with, it comes across, up, and the other hand follows, comes back. And same with the other, over. So that is one. My next one for you, okay, this time it's going to start from the knee, come over the top, stretch. You've got that resistance, you drop back down. Another little point for you is when we're doing this, I really want you to concentrate on your stomach. When we come up, some people try and get more movement through their shoulders by using their lower back. This is not an accurate way of trying to get an increased range through your upper body. If you are relying on your lower back, you're arching your spine and you're taking away from its structural integrity. So I want you to pull the tummy in, but not hold the breath. And I don't know if you can see, just in those three, this is the fourth, I've got more of a range going to the rear than I had before. Last one, and I release. Alright guys, so that's the band there. So if you just rejoin me and the band bit's over, we're going to come back into using more of the core. So lastly, we're going to come down, hands up. We're going to drop down here. So we've just had an entire routine which has allowed us to use many muscles. We're reaching now, using the tummy. We squeeze the tummy as we come through, and we use the stomach to brace ourselves as we come back. Ideally, once you can see what I'm doing, I want you to look down at the floor so you keep your neck neutral to your spine. This is amazing. And in 3, 2, 1, fantastic. So, sitting in your chair, hands on your hips, okay, just to keep yourself all nice and settled. I'd like you to march for me now, please. Your hands on your hips also allow you to feel muscles engage. So, I'm lifting up my knees one by one, and we're marching, and we're building up the tops of our thighs. We're using our stomach, shoulders back. So from this marching, the next progression would be that lovely push through. So we lift the knee and extend the leg. That might be too much for you. So what I'd like you to do is carry on into those marches, lifting the knee. This is the next progression. We're just extending out and seeing how tight you might be at the back of the legs, and actually, is it more to do that you're not strong enough on the top of the legs? So we're just getting this lovely reach. Okay, here we go. And in 3, 2, 1. My last one for you is the out, out and in. So we are now controlling more muscles around the bottom. This is fantastic. So we're doing that step through and we're bringing them back in. So we're controlling the muscles on the tops of our thighs. Trying to keep our posture as well as we can. And in 3, 2, 1. Great. So, coming back to the band, if you've got various strengths, alright, what I would like is for you to attempt. So once again guys, I do appreciate if you don't have bands, I'd like you to go for another set of marching or leg extensions. But we can use the band here to push away, and you've created a greater sense of resistance. This is a really good way of strengthening the top of the thigh, pushing. You will also find that you're using your bum muscles too. If you've done your marching, I would like you now please to go back into the outs and ins. So the foot out, out, in. If you're using these resistance bands, I want you to be mindful that in order to hold them into place, you are going to have the upper body strength to be able to maintain. And this will build up as you increase your numbers. So we're pushing. Good. From there, relax. Alright. So, just to come towards the end of today's session, I hope it has been beneficial to you. As I've said, please leave any comments, any feedback is always welcome, and I'll react to them as I see them. My name's Sam Corton, I'm a sports therapist based down in Ilfracombe, North Devon. and I'm very happy to support anybody online as I do with people in person, and it's all about movement for me and not being trapped in your body. So finishing off today's session is into those diamonds. Please be mindful now. Do you have more range? Do you feel that things are easier? But also I appreciate that they might feel a little tired. You have been using muscles that you may not have been getting the full range in. It is about repetition, safe repetition. For this, for future note, anything from 10 seconds up to 1 minute is something that would really benefit your upper body, and this really helps with posture. From here, we're going to turn those big handles to the rear. Everything we're going to do at the moment, guys, is to the rear. So we're pulling those imaginary handles back, opening up those back muscles. If you do struggle with upper neck issues, restrictions, migraines, and you need any support or any info from me, please get in contact. My details will be in the link, and this is something that I'm hugely passionate about. From there, what I would like, please, is a reach for the knee. So you can see here that I've placed a progression which has moved on from the previous ones. You had marching and leg extensions. This one is a slight twist. And as you become more confident and aware of what this video and the contents that it gives, I'm hoping that you will say, oh, I'm not going to do that one today, but I think I might have a go at the other one that he did. I hope that also the band ideas give you a little bit of interest, and I will be following up with a band routine in the future. And lastly, my previous debut video was posted a week ago, and thank you ever so much for the feedback. 3, 2, 1, superb. Thank you. I will react to anything that you send to me, and I hope you have a lovely day. My name's Sam, and I'll see you soon. Take care.